Hello. Hello. A bit of a slow start because this is a live. If you're watching this back, I'm not expecting anybody to join me on the live, but I think it's good practice to hit go. It's about divine timing, which might sound a bit religious or a bit woo woo. I'm kind of more on the woo woo side of things. As some of you know, if you've been watching my other videos, I feel like I've been putting a ton of effort and positive energy into kind of a reinvention and starting a career again after being ill. And there's a little bit of frustration because I feel like I haven't seen any results. And part of me is wondering whether I'm on the right path at all. Should I stop doing the videos? Should I stop trying to do a YouTube channel? And today I was reminded about it might have nothing to do with my particular situation. The thing that's meant to be for me and me, there might be other things around us that are not quite ready for us to meet up and for us to move forward. And I wanted to tell you a story about this. Fascinating that it's actually an anniversary of something, but I'll tell you that later. I didn't realize it was this special anniversary, but I'll tell you that later. When I was 32, I was very much ready to meet a life partner. I really wanted to settle down and I was getting quite frustrated about it. I couldn't understand why I wasn't meeting somebody who was special. And it was funny because I started having these weird dreams and they were quite vivid. I don't know if you've had those. And I had this dream, and the one dream was like, oh, he's got ginger hair or something obscure like that. And I would tell my mom about it. It was like, oh, he's supposedly got ginger hair. And then I had this other dream. Oh, my mom said to me, she goes, well, that's no use knowing that. Next time you have this dream, ask him what's his name and what's his phone number. So the next time I was dreaming, and it was one of these weird, vivid dreams, I said, what's your name and what's your phone number? And the message I got back was, it's Chris with a K. It's Chris with a K. And I didn't know any Chris's with a K, and I kind of assumed Chris spelt with a K, as some Chris's are. And I told my mom this, and it was like, oh, that's funny. And obviously, then for the next couple of months, everybody I meet, like, what's your name? Chris. "Oh, how do you spell your name? It's with a K." Getting a bit absurd about it. And so in a way, I kind of forgot about it. I knew that I'd had this dream, and it was obviously in my mind. And then so I don't know whether to tell you. I don't know whether I'm spoiling the story by telling you what happens next. I did meet my husband, and I met a Chris, and I said to him, "How do you spell your name?" And he said, with a C, like CHRIS. I was like, oh, okay. But then I asked him for his phone number, or we were sharing phone numbers. And I realized that his phone number was already in my diary or in my phone book under the letter K, because his first wife was called Kirsty. And so it was Chris, but the phone number was under K for Kirsty. And the anniversary I was talking about is today, would have been their wedding anniversary. But Kirsty was killed by a drunk driver. The September, I'd had started having these dreams about the May time. Then there was obviously I kind of put it to one side. She died in the September, and I obviously this is going to sound terrible. I did actually go to her funeral, but I wasn't eyeing up a husband. It was not on my radar at all, and obviously not on his radar. But that's a story for another day. And then when Chris and I got together a few months later, with the blessing of her mom, by the way. Her mom, Glenys, was just lovely. And gosh, I've been doing some videos lately where I get a bit emotional. This is quite weird. And I need to stop. I need to hold it together. So, yes, I remember thinking, wow, that's what had to come together. For me and Chris to come together, Kirsty died. And obviously, I would not wish death on somebody, even for me to find a husband, however desperate I was to find a husband at the time. But that was what had to happen outside of Chris and I. That was something that had to happen for all the pieces to fall into place. And it's a pretty extreme story. And it's funny that today I was just thinking, oh, I'll do a live. I need to practice getting on camera again, and I'll tell this story. And then I said to Chris, isn't there an anniversary around now? Is it a birthday? Is it the anniversary of a death? And he went, oh no, it's the wedding anniversary is the 18th. And I said, well, today's the 18th. And I said, well, that's a bit spooky weird that today this story has come into my mind about other things having to happen before, other things that are quite dramatic, that have got nothing at all to do with you, for all the pieces to fall into place. And you may be doing everything that you need to do, and the thing that is waiting for you is already there, but there's other pieces of the puzzle to move. And I was thinking about that for this YouTube idea and business. And it's like, maybe I should be trusting that I have done enough and I am on the right track. And just because I'm not seeing any progress yet doesn't mean that I'm doing things wrong or I'm on the wrong track. It just means things haven't quite lined up yet. And it might be nothing at all to do with me, somebody else's life completely. And I don't want to. And maybe I should trust and let all those pieces line up rather than worrying about it or forcing it. So I thought I'd tell you a story about something which I think is pretty dramatic, that something completely outside of me, like Kirsty dying, had to happen before I met my husband. And kind of we were on the path to meet. And as I say, I wouldn't have rushed that at all. Obviously, I wouldn't have wanted those horrible things to happen. But who knows? Who knows what's out there in the world, that the pieces of the puzzle need to be moved. And it's nothing at all to do with my life and how much effort I'm putting in. And nothing at all to do with what my ultimate dream and goal is of doing the YouTube channel and being more confident on the camera. But there's, as I say, there's things that I can't see right now. And much as I would like to tell the future and know everything that's going on, there's things that I can't see right now, and they need a little bit more time to shuffle and to move around. And in the meantime, what can I do? In the meantime, I can click record and go live and see if there's anybody there that wants to say hello or has any questions for me. I can get some practice on here. I've also been writing more on my third book today. And I had the title for my third book a while ago. And this morning I started making some notes and I was like, oh my goodness, my book isn't what I thought it was going to be about. It's about something different. And I thought, and I get a thrill from that. I enjoy the writing process and I enjoy the thinking and connecting the dots and figuring out the story and what I want to say. So I've been reminded lately, I think I mentioned in a video the other day, I was reminded about videos to do with law of attraction. I haven't really been in the spiritual woo-woo world for a little while. I've been focusing on other things and trying to be practical and trying to make my way forward. But say the last couple of days, I thought I need to take a breath, be a little bit kinder to myself about the fact that I'm not seeing results, and relax and enjoy. And it's like, enjoy a video. Why don't I do a video? And if somebody's there and they want to say hello, that's great. And enjoy the writing. Now, I can see that there's a couple of people here. I wasn't expecting anybody to be here. I'm just turning the camera on. Maybe you're just curious and want to hear somebody chatting. That's nice. Maybe you've got questions. If you're not familiar with me and you're wondering who is she and what's she doing, I'm new-ish to YouTube. I've been scared of turning the camera on, so I'm making myself turn the camera on. I currently have 166 subscribers, and I'm doing my very best to feel more relaxed on camera rather than having a script. I could have gone the script route. I've written about 7 books, and I am not earning a living at my creative side of things. I have a new book coming out October 14th about journaling with cartoons. I draw these cartoons about personal development and different things like that, which are fun. Let me show you. So this is kind of the cartoons. You're starting to see what the next chapter is for you. And the reason I call it journaling with cartoons is that I don't know what I'm drawing until I do it. So I had these eyes, these squirrely eyes thing in my mind of, I'm going to draw something with squirrely eyes, but I didn't know what I would feel when I saw it. So what I do is I draw them, and then I think to myself, what is she thinking and what is she saying? And that's when I pop the words up. And because I'm not trained as an artist, sometimes it's what Bob Ross says are happy accidents. Sometimes the eyes go wrong and sometimes the mouth goes wrong. And then I think, oh, I think she's saying something completely different to what I intended. So there's an element of improv with the cartoons. So yes, that's what I've been doing. I live in the UK, if you're curious about that. I've lived overseas. I lived in Spain, Myanmar, and Kazakhstan. So I've also spoken about on the channel, if people want to reinvent themselves and live overseas. I was a late starter for university. Right now, I am struggling to see progress on the YouTube channel. But the biggest problem is I haven't been clear about what I'm doing and who I'm helping. That's the problem. The problem is that I can't see how to articulate that clearly. Is it about reinvention? Is it about being fulfilled? And is it about being confused? Talk quite a lot about being confused. Oh, dear me. So if you're confused at the moment, just say hi. So yes, so what I was doing this the other day was I was beating myself up saying, why aren't I clearer? Why haven't I figured it out? And that's why, as I say, I've been thinking about these stories today about this sort of trust in divine timing, that it will become clearer. And maybe there are other pieces of the puzzle that just need to fall into place before I get to see exactly what's happening. Trying to think what else. Is there anything else that you'd like to ask me? I'm assuming you don't know me and you're just thinking I'll go on the live, but I am happy to talk nonsense for a little bit. If you have questions, if you have something in your own life that you're thinking, when's that going to work out? Or when am I going to know? Or when am I going to understand that? Or when is that going to become clearer for me? Isn't that frustrating? Oh, I'll tell you one quick story before I go, just to give you a chance to write a question if you want to. I've been ill for a couple of years and I've just started seeing a new counsellor coach person about it. And they were saying how I've got to think about it as there are positives and negatives of every situation. So although I may look at being ill as being a negative. Today, my homework today is that I need to be writing out things. What's the positive about being ill? And ideally, you should be able to say the same amount, the same weight of things. So, however strongly I felt that being ill is a negative, I should find that many elements as being a positive. So that's what my homework is at the moment. I don't know why I told you that. I remember at the beginning when I first started, I thought, well, there's a connection to divine timing. Oh, I wonder whether when I can see what's positive about being ill and whether I can see that as each situation having both positive and negative, I wonder whether I'll start to feel better. In which case, I'm expecting that life will go in a different direction. I don't know. I'm wondering whether things will change. But there's no questions. It was really to tell the story about me meeting my husband that I came online, and that's what I did right at the beginning. So if you caught us later and you want to go back and watch that, and the idea that of trusting the timing, that there's pieces of the puzzle that you don't know, and just because you're not seeing the results that you would like to see doesn't mean that you're on the wrong track. And that if it feels good, if your own personal guidance system is saying, this is right, this is what I should be creating and doing and putting out into the world, then maybe give yourself a break and keep going in doing that, at least for a little bit of time, and see what comes, rather than expecting the instantaneous results. You never know what has to happen and move out of the way for you to get what you want. But I can see that there's a person there, but you don't have any questions. So sending you my regards, and I'm going to click off. Oh, hang on. Let me just. Okay, I took a picture just for my thumbnail. You take care. Bye.